Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk. Now, Voyager Digital's former executive has basically filed for a brand new restructuring plan. This is actually hot off the presses. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, for instance, we've been covering Voyager quite a bit over here at Crypto Talk now, but just like you see right here, there's a brand new restructuring plan. It comes hot off the press from Axios. Credit to them and credit to Crystal Kim, who basically wrote this article. We're going to outline quite a few things, so it may seem verbatim, but this time around, I don't want us to leave anything out because I feel this is pretty important in regards to some of the things that are outlined here. So, for instance, as we know, uh, this Voyager Digital Executive Board member is seeking more information to support his own restructuring plan for, as we refer to, the now distressed crypto lender's bankruptcy proceeding. Now, in regards to the bankruptcy proceeding, if you want to learn a little bit more about the technicalities of it, you're more than welcome to click on this link right here. And it will, of course, take you to another part of Axios, which goes into a little bit more detail. But for the purposes of this video, I didn't want to make it longer than it needs to be. Again, if you want to read those proceedings, you're more than welcome to. As far as what's driving the news of all this, Shingo Levine, who was Voyager's digital chief innovation officer and a board member until February 2021, shared with Axios why the firm filed an objection with the United States Bankruptcy Court, Southern District of New York. One thing to note, the objection comes from Emerald Ocean Ventures, which is the crypto shop Levine started in January of 2020. Top of that, as far as what they're saying, quote, we were trying to get into the data room and become an approved bidder, to no avail thus far. We don't believe this is very conducive to a fair bidding process, especially since we have a bona fide bid, according to Levine. Worthy to note these two things. Voyager Digital, as we know, filed for bankruptcy on July 5th and has basically a period under Chapter 11 law to file a plan. Top of that, they quote, debtors initially have 120 days unless someone files a motion to shorten it, according to Robert Honeywell, who's a restructuring partner in that regard. Now, flashback to previous history, okay? Voyager Digital in 2019 acquired the Ethos Universal Wallet and its enterprise blockchain called Bedrock from Ethos.io, which Levine co-founded. Another thing to note, the acquisition was completed for 7,250,000 shares of Voyager. In regards to a little bit more of what they're saying, quote, in early 2021, however, I disagree with the company's direction and certain decisions being made. Due to these disagreements, I resigned from the board and left the company in February 2021, according to Levine, and in that statement that he had from Emerald Ocean Ventures, basically which happened late Thursday, as a couple days. Worthy to note out again, these two things. Voyager this year shuttered the Universal Wallet. Levine said, quote, rather than individuals safekeeping their crypto, it was instead placed in Cumming-led accounts and loaned to third parties in risk transaction. On top of that, Voyager Digital declined to, of course, comment. And I will comment just briefly on this before we jump more into this. So again, this is another perfect example of where you shouldn't be lending out an insane amount of crypto when there's, for instance, a bear market going on. We saw the likes of what happened, for instance, with what? Celsius. People consider that whole thing basically like a Ponzi scheme. Whenever you have a situation in which you're taking new investor money to pay off old investors, look it up for yourself. That is technically the definition of a Ponzi scheme created by, of course, Charles Ponzi. So, if anything, we have a similar type of situation, but in this case, instead of going back to the old investors who are in direct line of, for instance, Voyager, they're third-partying it out. But at the end of the day, it's still very similar. Anyway, I wanted to point that out. On top of that, you have Voyager Digital, of course, declined to comment in regards to all this. But to put it in context, like it mentions right here, Levine via Emerald Ocean is filing an objection as a creditor, and that is one of the many, many firms and customers that Voyager Digital owes. If you want to see the whole list of who they owe, of course, you can click on this. And of course, shout out to Axios, who's been right on top of it in regards to that, if you want to read that type of thing. Two more quotes I want to mention, and then that is this right here. They stated, quote, "We, the co-founders of Ethos.io, have been working to come up with a restructuring plan to provide a greater recovery for creditors caught up in the Voyager bankruptcy," end quote, according to Emerald Ocean Ventures, who said in the overnight statement. On top of that, the other quote, "Although we do not know the reasons why the debtors have not been more accommodating, we are concerned that perhaps management may be seeking to keep control." And it's just that, a lot of times when these guys, owe quite a bit and there might be a lot of interest involved, you promise higher yields. Sometimes they just don't get in a rush to do these types of things. How do we know this? Well, refer back to what? Celsius. Very similar. Two differences, obviously. One's dealt with more of, the third parties and so on. Of course, we're not going to dig more deeper into that. You guys may be aware of what's going on with Celsius. You may not. At the end of the day, it still spells what? Ponzi. On top of that, between the lines, Emerald Ocean Ventures would like some say over how Voyager Digital proceeds with the restructuring, so the firm has greater control over how much and in what denomination the crypto lender will pay them back. And of course, there's a little bit more in regards to this. I'm not going to read. I was going to read most of this verbatim, but one last note I was going to point out, and that is this. And you can read some of this as well. But like it says at the bottom line, right? So the bottom line, the new wrinkle in Voyager's bankruptcy proceedings stands to lengthen the time it will take for the crypto lender's customers to get closure. And that's what I hate to say just sucks about the whole thing. You want to see this thing, if anything, helping the people that originally got destroyed with, their investments. Even I myself, this could have been something that could happen to me personally. For me, when I was trying to buy Shiba Inu at the beginning of 2021, Voyager actually was something that was very, very attractive at the time. Believe it or not, roughly before May of 2021, when I was thinking about getting into Shiba Inu, that was an app that I had installed, and the reason why I didn't go with them is because there was roughly like a 45 to 60 day waiting list just to be able to use the app. So there's a tremendous amount of demand for it. But yeah, it was just that whole thing. I was like, I gotta be able to get my SHIB. And at the time, I found a course about Crypto.com's app, and then they basically were listing SHIB for sale on Crypto.com. I can imagine there were so many other people who were in a similar type of situation in which they basically were at the end of that waiting list and thought, you know what, I like Voyager, I already used them before, I'm going to go ahead and continue to do so. But yeah, that's an unfortunate situation. I am lucky by the skin of my teeth that I was able to just, do it with Crypto.com. But who's to say something like this couldn't happen with Crypto.com? Now, me personally, I believe as though, like the likes of Crypto.com and some of these other bigger centralized exchanges are too big to fail. You could agree to disagree in that regard, but it's a sad situation to say the least. But we will continue, of course, to follow this, especially here at Crypto Talk Now. We do discuss these types of things also on the live show. But guys, that is the latest in regards to all of this. If we hear anything in regards to any more of the restructuring or news that breaks out in regards to new investors who basically want to try to say this again, maybe similar to what Metaform Labs had going on, we'll bring the news to you. So that is the latest developing news in regards to the restructuring plan for Voyager. Thanks for watching today's video. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. May you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.